Good morning, everybody. It is our pleasure to bring to you today Paul Hinman, leader of the Wildrose Independence Party of Alberta, also the official candidate for the Fort McMurray-Lac La Biche by-election that's coming up. We don't know exactly when because Kenny hasn't actually dropped the writ yet, but we do know that there's going to be a by-election, and Paul is proudly up there. Because of that, the flood of questions that have come into us have been outstanding, and we wanted to bring those answers to you right into your home really easily. And so decided to do some of these videos. We're going to do some lives. We're going to have a whole bunch of things coming up over the next month or so to make sure that you're getting the answers to the questions that you're looking for. So Paul, without further ado, the biggest question we get asked all the time is, what are you doing up there? Why are you running?
Well, first of all, I want to say, Kathy, thanks so much for helping out this morning, and that we can share and get this message out. It's very exciting. This is a golden opportunity for the people of Fort McMurray-Lac La Biche to send a very loud and clear message to Ottawa and Edmonton. We are the center of the Paris Accord and Justin Trudeau's carbon net zero attack. He wants to shut down the oil sands. His environment minister wants to he's made the outrageous statement that he'd like to shut them down in 2 years. And for me, this is ground zero against Justin Trudeau and the Paris Accord's carbon net zero. And there isn't a more important place in Canada, let alone we'll talk about Alberta, to send that message. The bullying that's gone on, the discrimination, it's wrong, it's outrageous, and we need to stand up and say so. And again, you mentioned earlier, about Rex Murphy and his letter that he wrote last week, that it's time to stand up. Albertans have been standing up. When's the last time there's been more than 2 Liberals get elected here in this province? We've been standing up. But the fact of the matter is that we're in a broken, toxic, dysfunctional relationship with Ottawa, and they want to see Alberta become a have-not province. And so this is ground zero to send that message, and then that ripple effect that no thanks, but no thanks. You can live your own hypocritical life, but don't tell us how to live ours. And it's exciting going door to door here. I mean, well, the sad thing is today it's minus 24 with a wind chill. But we're ready to go out and hit the doors again and talk to the people. But they realize that, and they want to fight for their freedoms here. They want to send a message. But our challenge is to get to enough doors and for people to realize that we have an opportunity to vote for something they believe in. Often talk about, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And the question that many people are saying is that they want protection. They want safety. And I love that meme of the lion, one roaming the Sahara or out there on the plains versus the one in the cage. And what too many people don't realize is that when you ask government for safety, they strip away our dignity. They strip away our ability to make decisions. They want to have the equivalent of putting us in jail or in a cage and saying, oh, now you're protected. No one can hurt you. We'll make sure we feed you. We got a good veterinarian here to look after you if you get sick. But all of those things are very difficult to deal with, and depression sets in. The purpose, all of those things are lost. And so this fear-mongering that's going on, that the world's coming to an end, that if we don't sacrifice the oil sands and the oil and gas industry here in Alberta, somehow the world's not going to get saved, when it's just the opposite. The oil sands and the Alberta oil and gas has been an absolute blessing to humanity. You look at our quality of life, the things that we have, everything from our clothing to our medical equipment to our homes and our heating, our vehicles. These are all great blessings to humanity. And yet these hypocrites want to demonize it and act like this is what's hurting the world, when in fact the world is benefiting greatly from it. And I call the oil sands our crown jewel, and we're here to protect it. But that's why we're here, Kathy.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit. You've been going door to door for weeks. You took a little bit of time off at Christmas, and then you were back at it again in the new year. What are Fort McMurrayites telling you? What are they saying to you?
Well, first and foremost is this idea that we have a prime minister who wants to shut them down,
Mhm.
wants to put a cap on them. We have an environment minister, and then we have the Rachel Notley, the official opposition, wants to shut them down, and then we've got Brian Jean who's running against Jason Kenney, which is really a weird scenario in itself. But both of those historically have just said, well, let's go along to get along, and fail to defend us. I just was gobsmacked last year when we lost Tech Frontier, and to think that that was a benefit, and that's hurt our area here in Fort McMurray. It's starting to shrink our economy, and it's very painful. The year before that, we had the Nova Gas expansion line, a pipeline inside Alberta that Justin Trudeau and his cabinet hijacked and put on a whole bunch of extra um, requests in order to have that pipeline when the National Energy Board gave the go-ahead. And Jason Kenney and Sanya Savage said, oh, let's try and help the company meet these new criteria rather than outrageous, no, you're not telling us how to do it. We've met the environmental standards. We've looked at the upstream, the downstream. We have all that. And Jason Kenney and company is failing to stand up for our most vital industry and what creates, our quality of life here in Alberta and around the world, because there's been a lot of innovation and inventions that have come here from Alberta that has gone around the world, including directional drilling, just to name one.
Oh, exactly. And even Keystone, right? Like Biden
Yep.
wasn't even in office for 24 hours and that was it. And that put hundreds of people out of work and not one peep from
Yep.
federal or provincial levels of government, not one.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and what should have been done, there should have been one phone call, say, like, be careful what you're asking for, sir. You
mhm,
don't want our oil and gas? No problem. We'll shut it down tomorrow.
exactly.
We don't want to force you. We believe in the free market, the free world. We don't want to force you to take on a commodity that you think is bad and not good. And have they shut them down? And it goes back to this check on reality. How are these people so disconnected? And I love the analogy, as they sit around in their warm homes or their offices or whatever else, they have no idea where their hydrocarbons have come from. I'm going to go back to the North Face incidents here a few months ago, where Innovex Downhill Drilling Solutions requested jackets for their people. And the fact of the matter was, is North Face wrote them a letter back. They wanted, I think, 450 jackets. And they wrote back and says, I'm sorry, we don't support your industry. We put you in the same category as tobacco and pornography, and we won't provide you with a coat. And the president wrote a letter back and says, well, like, you have no idea. 90% of your products are come from the petrochemical industry.
Mhm.
How can you bite the hand that feeds you, or chop it off? But that's the problem that we're facing. We have politicians and bureaucrats and World Health Organizations and all these top officials that want to impose their lifestyle on us when they're totally disconnected from reality. They don't even know where their heat comes from, let alone their clothing, our medical equipment. And we need to stand up for ourselves. We talked about this world of anti-bullying.
Mhm.
Well, like I say, it starts here in Fort Mac. And the most important, what would I say, thing to consider is it's not the decision that's important. Well, it is, but it's who's making that decision. And are we going to allow Ottawa to make the decisions to shut us down? Or are we going to start to vote for local government, for the Wildrose that's here to protect our future, our industry, and make the decisions locally? And that's really what it's about. Who is going to make our decisions? And it's got to be here in Fort McMurray-Lac La Biche, or we're going to lose them, because their decision is to shut us down, and it's just a matter of a chokehold, and they're just going to keep squeezing until the town's again a ghost town, which we just can't allow. It's our crown jewel. We're going to protect it.
Well, exactly. And we've already seen ghost towns around our province because of coal or because of all
Yeah.
sorts of other things that they've tried to shut down. So this is a good segue into another question that I have for you. What is the proper role of government?
Well, that's a great one. And what I'm going to say, Kathy, is what we should probably do is call this for a day. And we should probably do another one. It's shocking to me how fast the day goes and the time goes. We spent
Mhm.
15 minutes, and maybe we can get back together and talk about the proper role of government and
Okay.
what we need to do there. But
We
what do
can
you
do
think of
that on
that?
that sounds good. We'll open up the next one with proper role of government and give everybody something to look forward to. Excellent. Talk to you guys all again soon.
Thank you very much.